Welcome, welcome everyone to Money Talks with Lynn Kitchen. I am so excited today to bring you someone special. We always love to showcase women who are creating wealth in the world. Wealth is not only about money, as you all know, but it's also about health. It's about mental well-being. It's about being wealthy in every aspect of our lives, including who we are becoming, including getting over all of the obstacles that we have been given as challenges in our lives. And so today I have someone very, very special. I'm delighted to introduce to you. And she is truly an amazing woman. Marci Hopkins is a renowned TV personality and a brilliant mastermind behind the captivating talk show Wake Up with Marci, which is a talk show from the heart. Now, this talk show has not one, not two, but three Telly Awards. That is significant. Telly Awards, as well as two Silver Anthem Awards. And so I'm really excited to bring Marci to you. Also, I want you to know that Marci is a best-selling author of an inspiring book named Chaos to Clarity. I love that title, Marci. And she's also a public speaker, a recovery expert, and her expertise in recovery has been sought after on national television and media with appearances on Fox, CBS, NBC, and ABC. And I'm so delighted that she is here with us today. Welcome, Marci Hopkins. Hi, Marci.
Thank you so much for having me. What a pleasure.
I'm delighted to have you. And I'm also delighted to really welcome someone of your stature as well as your breadth of experience in terms of personal development and going through the kinds of challenges that we all as humans have to go through on our journey to success, to creating the kinds of lives that we want, whether that means high income, wealth creation, legacy creation, all the things that we want, not only for ourselves, for our children, for our children's children, all of the legacy creation and so forth. And in order to do that, I know you have to be strong from within. You have to have the kind of strength, internal strength that is required. And sometimes we have to go through a lot of recovery to get those strengths by means of healing. And you're an expert in that. Could you begin, Marci, by letting us know a little bit about your story?
Mm. Well, I mean, what you're saying is so true, right? We want the best for our families, for our children, and we ourselves go through so much. And that leads me to generational cycles. So in my family, addiction is prominent. And there was a cycle of abuse. Uh, and I had to endure alcoholic parents, abandonment, sexual abuse by my stepfather, and a lot of yelling in the home, which is very terrifying for a young person. And so for me, when I was going through this, I myself found alcohol. And that was the way that I had started to cope with life. That's all I saw. That's what I knew. I mean, we are little programmed beings. So if we see others around us drinking, my mother was offering me alcohol at a very young age for answers to certain things. And so that's what I learned. And so the first time I drank, uh, I felt good. I escaped. I felt like life was good in those moments. And that's what I held on to. And through the abuse and all that I was going through, I was drinking, and it just became a very negative cycle for me.
Sure.
And I had difficulties in relationships and not knowing my worth. I had no self-love. I didn't know who I was. And at the core of it, that is really why I went through so much turmoil and victimhood through my life. And it was when I was 47 years old that I finally made the choice to make the change in my life. Now, I will tell you, life looked really good on the outside. I had a husband, 2 kids, big, beautiful home. I had made major accomplishments within my career. So I managed to survive and do my best through life. But the thing is that I was crumbling on the inside and
Hmm.
I couldn't hold it together anymore. And so it was October 4th, 2015 that I made a very difficult choice to put down the drink because it was all I knew. It was the only thing that I knew um, that would always be there for me. But it was destroying my life. And it was when I put down that drink and I went to my husband and I told him I needed help, that he embraced me. And it was the first time that I really felt the love that I had been seeking all of my life. And with that embrace, the weight of the world came off my shoulders and I was ready to do the work. And I felt for the first time that I was worthy of finding the love for myself and finding the healing. And so it was through this healing journey that I was able to rewire my thoughts, rewire the way that I thought about myself, the way that I thought about life, and living in a place of gratitude and forgiveness. And these things are life changing, and they're so simple, but they're not. And it takes action every single day to do these things, to reframe our thoughts and make the conscious choice to nurture the positivity instead of the
Right.
negatives in our lives. And it was through this that I broke the cycle of pain and addiction in my family. And I now feel that I can give that gift to my children, to give them the best mother possible, to be the best that I can be in this world for myself and for others. I now am on a quest to be of service, to help other people, and just to be the best wife I can be too. I just want to now, now that I'm curious and I am connected to God and know my worth, I'm going to use that to make a difference and share my story and do what I need to do. So it's people like you allowing me to be on your podcast to further my reach and hopefully my ability to help other people do the same.
Absolutely. And you are an inspiration to me and to everyone in my audience who are now listening to you, because we all have something in our past that is similar, because we've all had things that stand in our way.
Mhm.
I too have come from a family of heavy drinkers, alcoholics. I married a gentleman who was an alcoholic and prescription user. You know, that's a deadly combination.
Mhm.
And that combination woke me up. I was similar in age, maybe about 38, when I realized that my life was out of control by means of my needing to rescue everyone around me.
Mhm.
And it was a cycle of self destruction and despair. I think that what you have just described in your story can be duplicated by many, many people in the audience. That's why I'm so thankful that you said yes to be on this show today, Marci. And also, I want to say thank you for all the work that you have done in the world. You've been on national broadcast television. You've had your own television show. Wake Up with Marci. And now, everybody, I want you to know that Marci is bringing forth her new podcast, right, Marci? You are now moving into your own podcast of the same name, right? Wake Up with
Wake Up with
Marci.
a
Tell us how
deeper.
we can hear more about that podcast. And then I
Yes.
have a few more questions for you.
Thank you, Lynn. I just launched Wake Up with Marci, the podcast, a deep dive into self discovery. While my show was, I was so fortunate to have those 7 years with my show and build that up and to have the recognition that I had. But what was lacking towards the end, I was not fulfilled by the show anymore because I wasn't able to do that deep dive, to have the deep conversations with people. And it's through our stories, our conversations, that we are really able to help others. And I was only able to do short little segments on my TV show, which is why I made this decision. I've also partnered with USA Today, which is a huge media company in the US. So I will be able to get the stories out on a much larger
Oh,
platform.
congratulations.
So I'm very grateful for that. And it's just that I want to help people. Yes, I am in recovery. And but the biggest part of my story is what happened after I put the drink down. And that's what it is for all of us. We are masking something in addiction, and that can be addiction to food, sex, social media, working too much, working out too much, right? It's whatever we are doing to fill that void within us. So when I was able to put that down and I was able to start really going within and finding um, who I was, that little girl that was lost at 12 years old when the sexual abuse started, when the drinking started, and reconnecting with that person. That's what I want to be able to give to others, because when we can dive deep into those stories and learn about mental health, how we can create that change. I want to talk to all of the moms out there because of what we're going through. It can be so isolating and lonely, and we really don't understand that we're all going through the same things. And I want to be able to give practical advice and support to the women out there, because that was when I was going through my most difficult time. In my 40s, I was faced with perimenopause. I was going after a new career. I was trying to balance being there for my kids. And I all the while I had, all the trauma that I had not faced.
Right.
So I want to help those that are out there that are seeking support, because there's so much help out there. And we just need to understand what that help is and how we can incorporate it in our lives so we too can live that magical life that we're really all seeking.
I love it that you said that there is help. I think that if you mentioned your mother, and of course, my parents had no clue that there is help out there, nor did they think they needed help, you
Mhm.
see. So that denial was a very big, thick smokescreen that we, oftentimes don't have. We don't have the eyesight or the foresight to see through until our pain is so great from the inside that we absolutely have to seek help. And I want to congratulate you that in 2016 that you did that. Most people suffer their entire lifetime
Mhm.
without being able to get to the point where they can receive and get, know that it's not a crime to ask for help. It's actually a strength.
Being
Um, you
vulnerable, I
see,
know a
and
lot
I,
of
I, I
feel
just
that.
first of all, I wanted to congratulate you because 2016 was almost, hey, 2025. In one more year, you're going to be 10 years, and I know uh, that you use the word sober, and sobriety is when you're living in clarity and you begin to heal and become a full person. Not that we always have never been our true self, but it's almost been masked. Parts of us get masked and shrunk. We get, we think that we're not worthy. And I love that you had your description of what you discovered through this process was your true self-worth.
Yeah.
And that's my point. That's what I like to advocate for. Because whether it is in any endeavor of life, whether it's money, making money, investing money, trying to find worth in life, which is that outside world out there, it has to start with an inside job of finding your own self-worth upon which you grow.
Yeah.
That's why I'm having Marci on this show, everyone, because her show, Wake Up with Marci, has an awful lot to do with not just waking up in the morning, but waking up that part of you that deserves to be in full self-worth.
Yeah.
And full self-worth. So Marci, could you talk a little bit about your experience with other people that you've been helping in their journey to really wake up to themselves, that they're worth it? I know mental health is a big deal in our country. And many people are suffering from much too much emphasis on social media and being transformed into what they think that they need to become to look good or feel that they should look good, but really they're feeling like that somewhere inside themselves they lack worth. Could you help us talk to the point about waking up to your true self-worth? And I know that that's been your journey and what you're really helping people with. I think that is one of your biggest gifts, Marci. Could you talk about that?
Yes, I can. And Lynn, I just want to say that actually 2015 is when I got sober. And so actually this October, I'm going to be celebrating 10 years. So I'm
this year.
here
Yes.
this
Okay.
year.
This is
So
an advanced celebration.
wow. I know. And just to be able to say that is just phenomenal. I mean, like, what a blessing. Um, you know, finding self-worth is it can be a hard job. It can be a hard job. We are so programmed by our upbringing. And if we're not told that we are good enough, if we are always looking to others to validate us, which if you think about it, we're always trying to get our parents to say how good we're doing, right? Or our teachers to say how good we're doing. And then it's our bosses and then it's our husbands. And, one of the things that I do with my children, I will say that I'm very proud of them. But I ask them, are you proud of yourself? Think about what you have done, what you have accomplished. So I think if we kind of switch that, we can help our children to look at themselves and say, I'm proud of myself. And it's okay to be proud of ourselves because we're not taught how to love ourselves and put ourselves first in a lot of circumstances. And I know when I was raised, it was always about caring for someone else, always about being kind to someone else. And I'm 100% behind that. But we need to be kind to ourselves first. And that's what is so important. And I think it gets lost, and society doesn't teach us how to do that.
Bingo.
So when we begin to go within, and that's just sitting with ourselves, meditating or walking or just being present or writing, that is being present with yourself. And that allows you to start going in and reconnecting with yourself. And when you begin to reconnect with yourself, you find what lights you up, what makes you happy, what joy that you have from within, what what your interests are. And then you start to prioritize yourself and recognize that putting on your oxygen mask first is so vital for you to be the best version of yourself, for you first and then for others. Because a lot of times I think about when I was a mom and I wasn't doing that. I just felt overwhelmed. I
Right.
had anxiety all the time, always feeling stressed, reacting to life. And when you start to give yourself permission to take care of yourself first, to honor the self care for yourself, honor your needs, then you don't live in the resentment and the anxiety and feel like you're never getting back what it is that you're putting out because you're giving to yourself. You're giving to yourself. And another big part is trying to be perfect. We try to be so perfect on the outside and saying yes to all of these things so people will accept us or pat us on the back or whatever the case may be. And then we end up burning out. And are you really doing anything that great? Because you're spread so thin. So you feel like maybe you're constantly in failure, right? So I just want to encourage others to give yourself some compassion and know that today you're doing your best, and that's what you can do today.
That's
Just
right.
take one small step every single day towards being the better you so you can be better for others. If you need to rest for 10 to 20 minutes, then do it. Because I remember thinking to myself when I was raising my kids, like, oh my God, like if they are busy, then I need to be doing something else, but I'm so tired. Take that 20 minutes. That's all you need to reboot and refresh your brain and refresh yourself. So there's all these little things that we can do for ourselves. And when you start to know your worth, you start to set your boundaries, healthy boundaries. And I'm not talking about being angry or mean or anything like that. I'm saying healthy boundaries for yourself. Like if somebody asks you to do something and you don't feel you can do it, you can actually express that. I'm sorry, right now I'm not able to do that, but maybe you could ask so and so to do it. They could maybe help you. And later on down the road, please ask me again. And I hope that I can help you out, right? Instead of saying
Absolutely.
yes to something that is too much for you at that time.
I think that is
Yeah.
phenomenally
Yeah.
great advice.
And just in learning to communicate and just learning that doing things for yourself is not selfish because you're worth it.
Because you're worth it. Now,
Mm.
everyone to hear that. Doing things for yourself is not selfish.
Mhm.
It's worth it. It is in the area of self-worth, in building your own internal esteem, your self-esteem. And I also love that you said that it can be just one little step, something small that you can take for self-care today.
Mhm.
And that can be as simple as saying no
Yeah.
when other people need and want you to do something, one more thing, one more thing, one more thing. The overwhelm of today's society is overwhelmed for one reason,
Mm.
I think, and that is because we say yes to everything.
Yeah.
That's the overwhelm.
Yeah.
But in with some discernment, like you mentioned, you can step back, move into a much more balanced place. And we all know the old phrase, what if it could be easy? And it can be easy. I know the old term easy does it. I used to really meditate on the meaning of that. Easy does it. Difficult doesn't do it.
Mm-mm. Mm.
Easy does it. So what can we do to help ourselves go on an easier path? Everything doesn't have to be hard, hard, hard.
Yeah.
A lot of us feel like that's where we get our self-worth is because we have to work hard. We have to, we have to get hard. No, 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 no. Well, what if easy is what does it?
Mhm. Mhm.
And what if it is true that actually It's easy. It can be easy. So I love it that you are an advocate for people to wake up to how that they can, one step at a time,
Mhm.
um, treat themselves well, have the courage to move into a place of self-care. Thank you for that. On your podcast, tell us a little bit about what you expect that to be. Are you going to be having guests that you interview? Will it be full of stories of people and their overcoming certain obstacles? Tell us a little bit about your podcast.
So I have the first several guests that I've had on. The first one that will be coming on is launching actually March 1st.
March
And
1st.
yeah,
Woohoo!
and it's Dr. Rachel Goldman out of New York City. She's a psychologist, and we're talking about body image, body neutrality, excuse me, and body acceptance. And so it's just so important because we put so much emphasis on how we look on the outside, and we're not fulfilling what's on the inside. And then our narrative around food, our thoughts around food, helping to guide our children in a better way around food,
Mhm.
so we don't pass down our own self-image issues, which whenever we are putting ourselves down, that is what our children are hearing. And I love the idea of body neutrality. This is something that was new to me. Like, this is why I love what I do. I learn all the time. And that's more about the function of the body instead of what it looks like. So for instance, our arms, we can wrap our arms around our children and embrace them in a hug. And that is the function of our arms instead of worrying all the time if our arms are fat or that they don't have enough muscle tone, right? So
Right.
thinking about it, just kind of restructuring how we think about it and how we can meet those goals. And she talks about cognitive behavioral therapy, which shifts our mindset in the ways that we talk to ourselves and the ways that we think about things. I also have a woman, Donna Campbell, on. She's a mindset expert, and she too talks about the energy and our worth around finances
Right.
and wealth and our health. So, how she shares about her story, how she shifted that for herself, and the ways that we can shift that for our own lives. Because really, everything is programmed within us, and our subconscious is about 80% of our thoughts. And we don't even realize that this narrative is continuing, even when we sleep. We are having these same thoughts over and over. And only 20% of the thoughts that we have, we are aware of. And the majority of those thoughts are negative thoughts.
That's right. That's right.
Right? But just because we have these negative thoughts doesn't mean that they're real. It's our own, it's just what our perception is, or what we think about ourselves, or what we think about our lives, or what we think about others. And we are programmed so often to respond and react to life. And so what I want to help through each of my guests, yes, sharing stories is so important. How you someone got to the other side, because in reality, we are all experiencing the same types of things, whether it's divorce, whether it's grief, death, whether it's sickness, mental health, addiction, someone in our families or ourselves are being affected. So I want people to know they're not alone. But then, like, what can we learn? How can we add these modalities, these changes in our lives to shift the way that we think? And the reason it's so important for me is because I rewired the way that I thought. And I know that it is possible. And there's so many different ways that we can. And that's what I want to share with the world so we can start creating these shifts one small step at a time and how we can do it.
Well, you definitely are doing that, Marci, and we're very, very grateful because it starts with every step of every thought. You know, it's kind of when you said most of our thoughts are negative, conscious thoughts.
Hmm.
Um, Most of our subconscious thoughts are negative. Can you
Yeah.
imagine what we have to overcome? It's
Right.
amazing that we can actually achieve and accomplish all that we are
Right.
achieving and accomplishing.
Right.
Um, Even that is something that we need to give ourselves credit for and be easy on ourselves about, and yet take one little part, one day at a time to get better,
Mm.
because everything can change toward the better with the right amount of encouragement, the right amount of help. And that is exactly what you are doing. And I want to say thank you, Marci, for coming on today to share your strength, your story, your hope for with all of us. It is something that is universal.
Mm.
I often speak about wealth building, and money is very, very much a part of our lives. And yet, money is all based on subconscious thoughts, on conscious thoughts, and mostly negative that we
Yeah.
are raised with.
Yeah.
And many of our choices need to be looked at, need to be uh, um, rethought through so
Mhm.
that we can have happier lives, so that we can be more productive and be happier. And your story about letting go of your television show, which was already very, very successful, in order for you to switch into modalities to be now in your podcast and help others. I think it's something really tremendous. And I want to thank you, and I want to encourage everybody to go look up the new podcast starting this month, Wake Up with Marci. I know you're going to see her everywhere. And just know that she's part of us here now, too. So it's
Love
been
it.
a pleasure. Is there anything, Marci, to close that you would like to share with everyone?
Well, I would just love to say that if you, I hope to see you at the podcast, but I do want to share that so many of the shifts that I've made for myself, I do share in my book, Chaos to Clarity, Seeing the Signs and Breaking the Cycles. And it's everything I learned through my journey of recovery, and then how I shifted my mindset, and then building my self-worth to have faith and trust in myself and believe in myself enough to launch my television show and write a book. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. And I just want you to know to just have care for yourself, have compassion for yourself, have awareness of your thoughts, be resilient. And there's life is about evolution. So just have care for yourself, and just know that you're not alone. And I promise you, no matter what, you are worth it. And we just have to make the choice to make the change. Nobody else can do it for us. We have to make the choice. So I hope that you make the choice today, because I promise you it is so worth it.
Thank you, Marci. I promise the same. Make the choice to make the change. And I love, love that book, Chaos to Clarity. Everyone, please go to Amazon, download that right now. Make sure that you have a copy of that so that you can also take a choice in your own life from chaos to clarity, wherever you are, where no matter what you're going through, this is the moment that you do have the power to make a change for yourself. And so let's all thank everyone. Let's all thank Marci for her time and for her mental clarity and for her heart and everything that she's shared with us today. Thank you so much, Marci, for being
Thank
with
you
us
so
on
much,
Money
Lynn.
Talks with Women.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the work that you do.
Bye for now, everybody. I'll see you next time. And in the meantime, make sure that you remain happy, go healthy, and do take one day at a time. All right, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye.